So here we go again. We got more casting news from the new Crystal Lake series on Peacock. Alright, so fresh off the heels of the casting announcement of Caitlin Vincent playing a young Jason Voorhees, it looks like we potentially might have our adult Jason Voorhees about to sign on to Crystal Lake. So jumping right into the article from Dread Central, it says here, exclusive, Friday the 13th Crystal Lake reportedly features adult Jason Voorhees. Dread Central has learned from reliable production insiders that Shyler White, a seasoned creature and stunt performer, is in talks to appear as adult Jason Voorhees in Crystal Lake, the forthcoming Friday the 13th prequel series from Peacock and A24. While Peacock has not officially confirmed the casting, this will mark the first news of an adult Jason appearing in the series. The article will go on to talk about Linda Cardellini and Caitlin Vincent as the new cast members, as well as some of the others. It also goes on to talk about some of the production issues with Brian Fuller leaving the Crystal Lake series and so on. But skipping forward, it says the exact nature of White's potential appearance remains under wraps. Could adult Jason emerge in a flash forward, hallucination, or prophetic dream sequence? The mystery deepens. Sources tell Dread Central that White is currently slated to appear in just one episode and that the adult Jason character will not be a reoccurring role. So what exactly does that mean? Well, if we know that he's going to only appear in one episode, I think it's fair to assume that it's probably going to be at the very end. If you remember in my last video, I mentioned that I wouldn't want to see a child Jason moving forward into season 2. I'm okay with getting the child Jason story and the young Pamela Voorhees story in season 1. But once we get to season 2, I want to see an adult Jason. Well, it looks like that's probably what we're going to get. I'm going to assume here that we're going to see all of the events over the first season leading up to the drowning of Jason Voorhees. And then in that very last episode, and probably not for very long, maybe even for a minute or two at the very end, we might get the adult Jason wreaking havoc on Crystal Lake, leading us to wait until season 2 to see what happens next. But at the same time, I mean, do they really want to be that predictable? Another way they could go with this is to maybe open the season with adult Jason, and that would be something that we're probably not expecting, right? We jump right into the action, right in the beginning with adult Jason, but only for a few moments before we jump back into time to see how we got to that moment. But I think either way they go with this, I'm just glad to see that we're going to get an adult Jason in season 1, even if it's just for a moment or two at some point in the season, whether it's at the very end or it's at the very beginning before we flash back to the original timeline. Now, as far as this guy Shyler White playing Jason Voorhees, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, we haven't really seen him in a ton of acting roles, like straightforward acting roles. He's mostly a stuntman. It says here he's worked on Hunt, and I do remember seeing that movie. I didn't remember which one he was. I didn't take a chance to go back and look at that. He was in the Bye Bye Man, VHS 85. And ultimately, he does a lot of stunt work, a lot of fire stunts from what I'm reading on some of the websites about his characters. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get set on fire in this particular series, but apparently that's his specialty. But I guess when you think about it, a lot of the people who've played Jason Voorhees in the past, some of the best ones, have been the stuntmen. One of the obvious ones being Kane Hodder. So as usual, we'll keep this one short. What do you guys think of Shyler White playing Jason Voorhees? Are you familiar with his work? Do you think that he's going to be the best person for this role? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on this video.